In the quiet mountain town of Kamas, Utah, just outside the ski resorts of Park City, a family was supposed to be healing. Instead, they were shattered by a secret so cold it still chills anyone who hears it. On the morning of March 5th, 2022, Corey Richens called 911. Her husband Eric, a 39-year-old father of three young boys, was lying unresponsive in their bedroom. Paramedics rushed in, but it was already too late. Eric Richens was gone. The official cause, a massive fentanyl overdose, 5 times the lethal dose. No one in his life had ever known him to use drugs. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. In the months that followed, Corey didn't just grieve in private. She wrote and self-published a children's book called Are You With Me? A tender story about an angel-winged father watching over his sons from heaven. She appeared on local television and radio, smiling bravely as she talked about helping families cope with loss. All while, prosecutors say she was quietly trying to collect millions in life insurance. For years, the case lingered. Then, in February 2026, Corey Richens finally sat in a Summit County courtroom, charged with aggravated murder, attempted murder, forgery, and insurance fraud. The defense argued the state couldn't prove she gave Eric the drug. The prosecution painted a picture of mounting debt, changing insurance policies, and a marriage in trouble. Yesterday, March 16th, 2026, after 3 long weeks of testimony, the jury heard closing arguments. They deliberated for less than 3 hours. When they returned, the verdict was unanimous on every single count. Guilty. It was March 4th, 2022. Eric and Corey had been married for years. That evening, according to prosecutors, Corey mixed a Moscow Mule cocktail for her husband. Witnesses later testified about tensions in the home, financial stress, arguments, even an alleged prior attempt weeks earlier on Valentine's Day. Eric went to bed. The next morning, Corey made that frantic 911 call. When investigators arrived, they found no signs of struggle, no robbery, nothing out of place, except the toxicology results that shocked everyone. Eric had no history of opioid use. The level of fentanyl in his system was catastrophic. Someone had introduced it deliberately. But at first, Corey appeared to be the devastated widow. She leaned on friends and family, and then came the book. Are You With Me? Hit shelves in early 2023. The cover showed a gentle father figure looking down from the clouds. Corey promoted it openly, telling interviewers how writing it helped her boys process their father's sudden death. Viewers saw a composed, caring mother trying to turn tragedy into something positive. Behind the scenes, however, prosecutors claimed a different story was unfolding. Life insurance policies had been updated shortly before Eric's death. Forged documents allegedly surfaced, and investigators uncovered evidence that Corey had obtained fentanyl. The defense pushed back hard. They said the state's case was built on circumstantial evidence and that Eric might have taken the drug himself. They rested their entire case without calling a single witness, betting the jury would see reasonable doubt. The trial in Park City's 3rd District Court stretched for weeks. Jurors heard from medical examiners, financial experts, friends, and family. They saw text messages, journal entries, and phone records. Closing arguments on March 16th were intense, the prosecutor hammering on the mismatch between Corey's public grieving image and the cold facts of the toxicology report. Corey sat quietly, visibly emotional at times. Then came deliberation. Less than 3 hours later, the verdict: guilty of aggravated murder, guilty of attempted aggravated murder for the earlier incident, guilty of forgery, and guilty on 2 counts of insurance fraud. The courtroom stayed composed, but the speed of the decision spoke volumes. Many legal observers called it one of the quickest verdicts they had seen in a complex poisoning case. Sentencing is set for May 13th, 2026, a date that carries painful weight, as it would have been Eric Richens' birthday. Corey Richens faces 25 years to life on the murder charge alone. Eric's family has remained largely private, focused on the 3 boys who lost their father far too soon. The children, still minors, have stayed out of the spotlight, and their privacy deserves respect as this chapter closes. Conclusion. A children's book meant to bring comfort now stands as one of the most haunting ironies in recent true crime. A mother who presented herself as a guide through grief has been convicted of creating that very grief through poison. Eric Richins should still be here, raising his sons, living his life in the shadow of the Wasatch Mountains. Instead, justice arrived yesterday in a Park City courtroom after years in this.